Thank you for staying with us. Nation building can be defined as constructing or structuring a national identity using the power of the state. It aims at unification of the people within the state so that it remains politically stable and viable in the long run. And another definition of nation building on South Africa's website says, and I quote, "It is also the process whereby a society of people with diverse origins, histories, languages, cultures, and religions come together within the boundaries of a sovereign state with a unified constitutional and legal dispensation, a national public education system, an integrated national economy, shared symbols and values as equals to work towards eradicating the divisions and injustices of the past in order to foster unity and promote a countrywide conscious sense of being proud citizens of the country, committed to the country and open to the continent and the world," end of quotes. Now on the show today, like we said, the topic is collaborating towards nation building, and the primary objective of nation building, as we know, is to maintain peace in a society. I personally strongly believe that we all have a role to play. So before we introduce our guests, Lami.
Yes.
Do you agree that we have a role to play?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
We do have a role to play, and where do I want to start from? I don't want to delve into deep, but I think that the main problem that I see in all of this is socio-economic exclusion. When people don't have a common identity, we don't have a common purpose. People are different, but we all live at very parallel lines in Nigeria. Socio-economic reasons. The lifestyle somebody in Osun State, the quality of life for somebody that lives in Osun State is quite different from the one that lives in Sokoto.
Definitely.
So how can we all be how can we all sit down to agree that this is the shared values that we should have? So I think we should start from there. How can we harness everybody together to come to the same table and agree on how we want to live as Nigerians?
Jennifer, what are your initial thoughts?
Okay, so towards nation building, I think first of all, people have to work towards building the right mindset. Positive mindset. And I know that even with the current happenings in Nigeria, it might be difficult, but the only way we can move forward is to tailor your mind in that direction. And then if there's one thing I've noticed about a lot of people is there are people living in a bubble. People cannot relate to what their neighbor is going through. You can't at least try to put yourself in their shoes. And I feel like when you start doing that, that's when you can understand what the next person is going through. It is not just about you. You need to understand that outside of your community, there is another community that is having it worse than you are having it. So let's try to, empathize with other people.
I think that's a
and then
special
come together.
skill that everybody cannot have, which is why we have a government, right? But let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Tweet at us at Wisho Africa with the hashtag Wisho, or SMS and the WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. The number will be right on the screen. Now, our guest today is the Chairman and Chief Potential Officer at Ethos and Metal Limited. He's a multifaceted communications specialist, a charismatic and persuasive public relations representative, and the promoter of I Am Nigeria, an initiative which seeks to challenge the status quo and engage Nigerians, both young and old, to be the solution to Nigeria's problem. His name is Oladele Ogulano. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the Chief Potential Officer. I mean, when I saw that, it was striking. How did you come about that, and what is the role of a Chief Potential Officer?
Okay, so the effect, the desired effect was achieved.
Okay.
Because then you asked the question. So that's the first, it's when people say to me, what do you do? And the first thing I say is perception management. Now, then I get a question. But if I said it's PR or branding, and then you move away, okay? But when I say Chief Potential Officer, you're wondering, what's that? But the whole idea is, if indeed what we're looking at is under the guise of marketing communications, but we're saying that we're building perception and we're managing perception, then the potential officer begins to seek out those things that you would ordinarily not look at or see. So I'm going to spend time with you and I'm going to begin to pick out the things that I would want you to highlight in the things that you do. There's also that 80-20 perception slogan, you know, that is all about perception. So, and what I always say is, I was listening to you ladies earlier on, what I always say is that you've got to drive your own perception rather than let other people drive it for you. Because the danger in that is that then they throw it out and then you start defending yourself. So speak out about what you want to do, what you're about. And that's what we do at Ethos and Metal. It's about the spirit of a culture and then getting you to confidently push it out. So that's what the Chief Potential Officer does.
Great. Jennifer, do you want to go first?
That's good. That's that's amazing. I mean, I've never actually, when I read your bio, all I saw was, I saw the PR part, I saw the brand management and all of that. But now that you've kind of like elaborated what Chief Potential Officer means, it sounds amazing.
Thank you.
It sounds amazing. You're welcome for you. I think I'll let Lami ask her question.
So to start with, what is nation building? And what do we mean by collaborating in nation building?
Now, you want the textbook or we relate it to our reality?
Relatable reality.
Because I listen to you read out the textbook definition.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that, yeah.
Nation building, unification of state and all of that. But I believe that there's something that comes before that.
Which is?
Which is the people. The people need to even know who they are. You cannot begin to build a nation of people that feel lost. Okay, so what is the Nigerian story, for example? What drives us? What's the aim? What are we looking at? Where are we headed? Nobody so far has been able to put that in perspective. When I say nobody so far, I'm talking about people that at the moment, or even prior to now, are driving the boat or the ship of the nation. So when we do not know what we are all about, it's difficult to begin to start talking about nation building. What are we building? Are we building a dog or a cow or a goat or a sheep? Or what are we building? You know, so there is that despondency, and you can feel it. And you see it all around because people just must have a sense of belonging. There must be someone that pulls us all together and says, okay, this is who we are.
Shared values.
And then we begin to first identify the values before you can even begin to share those values. Who is doing all of that? You know, so yeah, okay, everybody begins to look lost because nobody's doing that. And so we wait for government to do that, which is what we always do. But I like what Jennifer said earlier on about being positive. So I'm going to try and be positive tonight so that I don't go my usual route. So we wait for government to do A, B, C, D, E. But you know, when you talk about collaboration, it begins to open it up even better as far as I'm concerned. And then we see what A, B, C, and D think about this nation.
Let me take you back a
Yes.
bit. When you said we need to understand what Nigeria is, what our story is.
Yes.
Now, going by your journey and your experience, if you would have to say, this is what you have seen about Nigeria and what our story should be, or what the dream should be, what would that be?
Oh, I would work in just a few areas, really. I would highlight a lot of our culture.
Okay.
I believe that we've not even started addressing the issue of culture. We look at our culture, our traditions. You see, the mistake we keep making is that we associate culture, traditions with things that are fetish. And so it's very easy for us to push it all aside. But there's a lot of tradition and culture that we can begin to look at as our comparative advantage. Put it that way. You know, so nobody who is addressing those things in the country. Those are income earners. I went to St. Louis one day and I paid to go and see the ark. And I got up there and we went up and we came down. And I asked my friend, I said, what's that? He said, that's it. I said, that's $10. And he says, yeah. So, you want to go again to actually see, did I miss something? But we have so many things in this country that we're not even paying attention to.
I felt that way.
And then at the end of the day, we say government.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
When you say culture and tradition, can you give me 2 examples, 2 key culture and tradition that you're talking about? Because I mean, we have a lot, but I need to understand where you are coming from.
Okay, a lot has been done about the Oshu Festival, for instance. Okay, so that has been promoted to an extent. So a lot of people actually would come into Nigeria to see that festival. It's an income earner. Hotels, airlines, so many people will benefit from that festival. So grow that festival into something that is worthwhile and sell it. Okay? Next door, which is, I have something called Next Door series. Next Door for me is Ogun State. Okay? Next door right there, we have the Sele, Sele village, where Oshofa Hills.
Yeah.
I went there once and, until we begin to see these things as income earners, and it's not hard, but we've got to have people that can see it. Look, so people travel there on pilgrimage every year. What is wrong with setting up activities around those areas? Why don't we have hotels? Why don't we have things that will earn for people along that place for that period specifically? Why don't we have programs that we can build? Those are traditional things that we can talk about. I went 1 kilometer down. I mean, the Oyibo man would be too happy to go 1 kilometer down. And then at the end of it all, what did we have there? We had a spring that was bursting forth water. Very unlike me, I tasted the water. It was very cold and sweet. I mean, that is an adventure.
Yeah.
Nothing is being done about it. The only thing that is being done about that water is suddenly it becomes holy water. So people are fetching it as holy water. I mean, that's not what a country does to develop itself.
But in all of this, you've taken away the issue of security. How can I think of any viable business or to invest when I don't feel secure?
I haven't taken away the issue of security. We haven't gotten there yet. When I begin to tell you about those things that need to be in place, that is when you now, once you see it, you're going to put in place things that will make it happen. If you don't see it, nothing will happen. But once you see it, and I mean see, when you see the possibilities and the income that will be generated, the revenue that will be generated, we will address security. We know we're not addressing security at this time because nobody cares enough about security. And when I say nobody, again, I'm saying nobody because we're being positive, and I don't want to start talking about government, because sometimes when you start talking about government, you might have palpitations and then the runs.
But is it possible for us to have the discussion without
the government?
No, we'll talk about it, and then we have to get to a point where we can actually, in our minds, put government aside. Okay? We've got to be able to say, you know what, put government aside.
So how do we do that when the policy still rules?
Before you answer that, I think I have a question in line with that. I was going to ask, who do you think has the major responsibility for nation building?
Okay, you see, you want us to go to textbook?
Not textbook.
Not textbook.
I'm asking
Relatable.
you.
No, but
relatable.
We know who is responsible. We know who is responsible.
Who?
Responsibility also can be defined as responding to ability. Yeah? So when you say to Lamida and say, this is what you're going to be doing, I expect her, the expectation is that I am giving her that role in response to the ability that I see that she has. Okay? So if I give her something that she does not have the ability for, whose fault is it?
Okay, so are you saying that government is responsible for nation building?
But you are responsible for the government you have.
We have.
Thank you. That was what I was going to say that.
So it's you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Government is, what is government?
We are government.
So we've got to get to a point where we begin to take ownership, which is what our Nigeria is about.
Yes.
Take ownership for these things. The reason why we're here, okay, let me just make it as simple as, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 people have an idea of what you want Nigeria to be like, okay? So we're talking about it. We're collaborating such that the things that we come out with, we can then begin to develop, to build the nation that we see. So in all of this now that we've talked about, let's leave government. Let us begin to even imagine the things that we see. For instance, okay, so governments that we've left aside, and it's okay, so what do you want? If we've not spent time to think about what we want, we're not going to be able to present anything to them. So they're going to stay that way. Let's, as Nigerians, begin to seek what we can do. Otherwise, we get tired. We're already tired. But I'm at that point now where, you know what, I don't want to dwell on what we know is negative. Okay, let's begin to look at the things that we can do from this point forward.
So what can we do from this point forward? You've mentioned identifying and harnessing culture and tradition. Yeah. So let's assume a big assumption that we get that right. What is the next step? Okay, so what are the issues we have? We have health issues, security, okay?
Education?
Now, education. Education is key. You know, what's this guy? DK Chukwumerije. You know, I like one of the things is, hey, education breeds a brand new tribe. The tribe of those who value knowledge and respect empirical data, who defend superior argument and lifelong admirers of reason. That's what education does. What are we doing about education? We've thrown it away and left it to government. Okay? The individuals that have decided to take on education see it solely as business. So it's just there. But you and I have a responsibility to make things happen. I would love to talk about something that I'm working on now, but I don't know, because that's when you say I didn't pay for it. But you know...
Okay, before you get there,
yes.
Let's go on a very quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll see if you paid for it or not.